How much time and money can I save using Takt versus traditional scheduling methods? This is an interesting question that I'm going to answer right now, but the reason is that you can't fully measure the impact of high morale. You can't fully measure a lack of negative impact on the trades or how much it means to your family to be able to get home on time. Some of these things, like W. Edwards Deming said in his books, are unknowable. These are unknowable metrics, right? He challenged the thought that you can't manage what you can't measure because some things aren't measurable. Meaning that when you implement the tech production system, you have trade flow. The benefit of that, how are you going to measure that? You have a stable site, that stability, which creates order and allows you to see and remove problems, roadblocks before they impact the work. How are you going to measure that? Right? The morale of the team, knowing that they're winning, how are you going to measure that? Right? But I will say that there are representative metrics among all of our clients, and I'll use one and just give you some data. The one thing that I do want to say, there are studies comparing CPM and CCPM, and you can find them yourself. It's actually really the only relevant studies about CPM is the comparison to CCPM. And really, I would say conservative studies have found without any stretch that CCPM, critical chain project management, is at least 20% more effective than CPM. And most of the studies find that CCPM is 40% more effective than CPM. And there's a little bit of math and understanding that goes into how that data is derived, but let me just give you an example. If the project is identified to take this long, CPM typically would overrun it by about 40 days, and CCPM would be on schedule or 10 to 20 days earlier. And so what they do is they extrapolate those numbers, and I hope that's the right word, into a study. That's where they come up with that 20 to 40%. So there is some data out there on the market for it. Let me give you our clients specifically. Well, let me give you our feedback, and then let me give you some actual numbers. Number one, I got feedback today just from talking about doing a training on Takt and Last Planner in these systems, that their percent plan complete for tasks, and actually they loop it in and merge Takt and CPM together. But now that they've implemented with Takt, they're above 95% hit rate for their percent plan complete. They have multiple projects now that are finishing ahead of schedule, and there are projects that have been delayed like 85 days, and through the Takt production system have recovered 63 of those days. It's quite remarkable. But let me give you an example of one of our main clients, and they do multifamily. Now, Takt works on any kind of project, and we see the same results, but they do 7 to 9 massive multifamily projects a year. Um, they have a fun number that's not exactly how you should look at it because of early phases, but square foot completed per day. It used to be 338 square feet per day. If you take the overall square foot of the project, just divide it out by the time, 338 square feet. Went up to 668 square feet and climbing. It's still climbing. Another one is the average overruns for schedule used to be 30 days. And now that client went to finishing projects on time to now the average is about 3 to 6 weeks and shortening without hurting trade partners. None of this is shortening any of the trade partners' durations. From a financial standpoint, they were able to cut their cost per square foot, and you're gonna think I'm crazy about this, but anywhere from $2 to $8 per square foot on their overall pricing because of the way that they're able to deliver these projects. Other clients that don't measure it that way have seen their gross profit go from, and I've seen it all the way down below 4, sometimes 10, but climb 5 to 10 percentage points for trade partners and up to 1.5 to 2% for general contractors, depending on the type of job. Some jobs are really tight. You're only going to get a percentage of a or a fraction of a percent is really what I'm trying to say. But we do have relevant numbers. The biggest feedback that we get is balance, stability, a larger aggregate of trade partners, usually all making money on the project, happier clients, finishing on time or up to 5 to 10% early, and that the risk on the project and contingency use is cut down by at least 30%. So these are the numbers, and I've given you like soft skills feedback. I've given you hard numbers and reference the studies. There is data out there, but the most impactful stuff is the unknowable, unseeable impact on morale, well-being, and safety of our partners, and the reputation that we have in delivering for our clients. So that is the answer. I hope you've enjoyed this. On we go.